Welcome to another edition of Very Vogue with me, Val Kleinhans. We chat style, fashion, all that good stuff, pop culture, all that good stuff on this podcast. Today is no exception. We've got Andi Marrs here. She shares real plus size outfits and beauty content. Andi, you're here because you are very Vogue. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I love it because I found you on Instagram and instantly I tuned in firstly for the sass, the colorful outfits, the authenticity. But and I wanted to know, how did your social media journey start? Because not everybody is like totally comfortable with social media.
I know, yeah. So it started kind of like I was always obsessed with Instagram. Let's just get that out of the way. Ever since
Yes.
Instagram became a thing, like it was kind of like gaining popularity towards the end of my college years. And like I was on there and I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. I loved it. I was obsessed. And I was like obsessed with having like the specific aesthetic and like visco
Mhm.
was like big. And I was like, let me just filter all my photos and like do all these things. And like my friend was teaching me all these things. And I was like, this is so amazing. Like I want to be like an aesthetic girly.
Yes.
I tried. And then I started getting in and like watching some cool fashion bloggers. And I was like, I love this. I'm obsessed with all the stuff they're sharing. I want to be like them. And then I was like, oh, okay. And so like, these people like had hundreds of thousands of followers or like, big
Mhm.
followings. And so that was like the swipe up feature, back in the day when
Yeah,
everyone,
yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
needed
only
10K.
only the few got that one. And I
Right.
would swipe up and I would look and I'd be like, oh, first of all, this only comes up to a size large, which you're offering. And second of
Oh.
all, it's like so expensive. And I was like, is there like, and I was like having a hard time finding in my, area, like people who were providing affordable clothing, but also clothing that was not a size large. And I was like, okay, well, if I can't find anybody, I will just start doing it. And mind you, this was like, I also probably missed, there was a lot of people already doing this in this phase, but I was like, I'm just going to become one because I want to do that. So I just like randomly started a blog on like WordPress and I was like, I'm gonna start posting. Now I look back and I'm like, well, that was really cringy. It was in 2018. So it was like towards the end of, towards the end of the big makeup, like the brows were awful back then.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Everyone's like, I was like overlap. Oh my goodness, my brows were awful. But it was like, fun. I had such a great time. But my first posts were very cringy. I was like, wow, I can't believe I actually put that out on the internet. But in 2018 I started, and then I met a lot of really fun people. I was in the DC area before I moved to Charlotte,
Mhm.
and I met a lot of wonderful curvy plus size women and bloggers and creators in the area. They had like this thing called the DC bloggers. They got together for events. I had so much fun. I met a bunch of awesome people, and then the pandemic happened, but that's how I got
Right.
started. Super
Oh,
awesome.
but it changed everything, really, the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
like how we consume content.
Yeah.
I think we're a lot more conscious of how we word things when we post them on social media, and it's like, "Stop,
Uh-huh.
that might not be the best way to phrase that, sis. Like, let's take a step back."
Right.
Um, we're more conscious of that. Just you brought back so many memories when you mentioned visco and the brows. Oh my God. I mean, I'm still trying to grow my brows back from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
I know, right? That's
And then it's like
too
all of a
funny.
sudden they do, it's this weird like trend in beauty where it's either the big full brows or the little thin brows. I guess thin is going to be in next because that just seems to be the way it goes. I don't know if I want to go there though. I like what I have.
Oh, I've been traumatized. I can't
I
do it
know.
again.
Well, so it's coming, from Charlotte. I know a little bit about the city. My brother lives just outside in the suburb of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He
Okay,
works
yeah.
for he works for American Airlines, and which I
Yeah.
guess is what a lot of people do in Charlotte. But he loves it. He enjoys it. He's got South Carolina and North Carolina really in
Hmm.
his. So every time I go there, their airport is busy as hell. I'm
It
like,
is.
is there's something happening here in Charlotte where like people are catching on to, I don't know if it's the chill vibe. I don't know if it's like just the weather, just because it's better. Like people are catching on to Charlotte.
Hmm.
And I love to see you make that a community for you and sort of tailor that to you and what you need and the friends that you hope to find in life. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you took that group that you just mentioned, you created this in DC, you got together with a bunch of bloggers in DC. Now I think it's Queen City Creators. Is that true? Okay, so is that what sparked it, the Charlotte version, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I mean, so it's not quite the same as that. I mean, that one is like a chapter, and it's got chapters everywhere. My friend Haley and I, we were like, we should create something for Charlotte, because like we were trying to look to see if there was anything for Charlotte, and we didn't find anything. So we were like, let's just create this Instagram. Now, have we done a ton with it? We're getting there. We're getting one day we'll get our lives together. But that's the idea, is like to create a space for Charlotte creators, because I feel like Charlotte is a little bit different in that it's not necessarily like it is a concentrated city, but there's a lot of people on the outside, and like, it's not like everyone's just right in the city. There's a lot of people living on the outskirts. And so there's a lot more to cover when it comes to that. And like, that can be a little difficult, but we just started it. We wanted to create like an open space for anyone who is a creator in any capacity to join and follow along. And we're hoping, like, maybe this is a 2023 goal of mine, is to actually have like an event or just like meet up with people, because that hasn't happened yet. We're going to get there.
That'd be fun. That would be amazing. I feel like the outfit reels are obviously amazing. The carousel posts are wonderful because they're an opportunity to show off some BTS moments and some silly moments. I know you love to use that function for that. I do it for the same reason. Carousel posts are where it's at. I'm glad they're in right now. What captured me most, though, was a moment that you had on your stories where you discussed something very interesting. And if you're not comfortable going fully into this, totally let me know. We don't have to. But you discussed being a Christian while supporting the queer community. Take being a plus size creator and the balls that takes to put yourself out there. Take that aside to discuss Christianity and being part of the queer community and or at least supporting the queer community. That's a lot. And it was so refreshing to see somebody get that vulnerable and get that real, because I run into the same challenges. Like, I get tired of explaining my faith and defending it. And I just tend to believe in the spirit behind Christianity versus like the organized religion of it. You were talking about, the questions that you get, how can you support the queer community while also being a Christian? I don't understand why there's this separation of the two in people's minds, but there is. So how in the world are you able to stay so strong in your faith while having those types of questions aimed at you? That fascinated me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, that video I did in response to someone I saw who's like a friend of mine that I grew up with. Her husband is a pastor, and he posted these Instagram stories and was talking about the queer community and how we need to stand as Christians against it. And I was just like taken aback by that. And I have gotten questions before about that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say something, because it bothers me. It really bothers me when people say things like that. Because if you read the same Bible that I'm reading, it is very clear that God is coming from a place of love and acceptance. And that's not acceptance as to, I accept every part of you that's like, there's things that are wrong and we call those out, of course. But that is not a part of that. Like, there is if you really actually look at the translations, and I'm not a scholar of like necessarily, I've studied the Bible, but I'm not a scholar. But if you read the translations of the Bible, there's not really any instances where it talks against homosexuality in the true translations of the Bible. And I know people bring out different passages. We have to read it in the context of when the Bible was written. And back in those days, it wasn't as much of a thing that they really understood and could have put a label on. And so to me, I'm just like, if you really want to pick and choose what parts of the Bible that you agree with to like fit your narrative, that's fine. But for me, I'm going to go off of what I know Christ is, and that's love. And that's it.
Right.
I don't know. That's my little phrase.
Well, because the Christ that I learned about in the Bible Belt South youth group, I lived in South Carolina, just outside Columbia for like a year and a half. So first off, for you to do that in the Bible Belt South, hats off, because it's not easy. And second off, like I remember, going to youth group and places like that there, and there is that mentality. And I was like,
Mhm,
well, wait a second. The same Christ that you're talking about also loves unconditionally. That's what I want to believe in. I want to
mhm,
believe in that Jesus Christ. I want to
yeah,
believe in the philosophy behind that mentality. And
mhm,
it's like, why? And I just always question that too. I'm like, why are we so quick to forget that part of it? The
mhm,
unconditional love, the forgiveness. We'll
mhm,
forget that. And it's all a matter of how a pastor or how a leader, whatever word you want to use
mhm.
for it, it's all in how it's interpreted. It's so
Absolutely.
subjective. It's
Yep.
insane.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a
So
tough subject.
it is. And I don't know that there's ever going to be like a perfect answer to it, but I just wanted you to know that it's refreshing to see somebody at least say, skirt, let's have a little bit of a conversation here. Cause this
Yeah,
is y'all are doing the most right now. You're at a
exactly.
20, we need you at like a 2.
I totally agree.
Something else that you're also refreshing about is, of course, being a plus size baddie. Love the energy there. But you specifically mention what's called real life plus size
Mhm.
outfits. So I'm curious to know, what does that mean? What's your definition of like a real life plus size outfit?
An outfit that I would actually wear to work or outside or just in my normal
Yeah.
life. And I feel like sometimes like I see awesome creators, and I'm not saying that they don't do this in their real life, but I see these outfits or like I see things that people are like styling certain ways, and I'm like, I don't think I would ever wear it out like that. And so I'm just like, let
Oh,
me
okay.
just like post what I think is like this is a real life outfit. I know me and where I go to work that would not go, that would not fly. And so I'm just gonna
Mm,
post what I think is something that like is actually wearable and comfortable and something and I want to keep wearing over and over again because the reality is overconsumption is a thing and we're not always
mhm.
buying new clothes. So I want to wear these outfits and look cute in them over time as well.
Right. Multiple uses. Like,
Mhm.
so I get what you're saying. So you're like, I don't want what's on the catwalk in New York or Milan. I want something I can actually like maybe
Yeah.
wear to brunch with the girls or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
not, yeah, I get it. Okay. So, and there is, oh, excuse me, there is a
Bless you.
difference. I know there is a difference between the two because there are certain things that you can only wear to certain events. So you like, I wish it wasn't
Mhm.
that way, but the truth is it is. And there's multiple reasons for that.
Yes.
So I love seeing you talk about that as well. Why do you think um why do you think it's so hard for plus size creators to like put themselves out there, or is it hard for plus size creators to put themselves out there? Because the one that I've talked to, they all share, how initially it was scary as all hell to
Mhm.
start with that process, but they felt that it was important to be a representative and to put themselves out there anyway. Do you get that same sense of, I need to put myself out there for a purpose? I want other women like me to see me and hopefully find comfort or something in that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when I first started posting, like I wasn't thinking about it as much in that sense. But then I started seeing people say, like, oh my gosh, like I would never wear that out. I'm getting so much from you for you doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. So like it took me a really long time to get to the point where I was, like, confident in who I am and how I looked no matter what size I was, because I
Mm,
fluctuated some from a size 14 to a size 20 and
yeah.
in between, like, and so I just, like it took me a long time, and so then I started posting, and I also started sharing about, like, my, you know, infertility issues and, like, other things like that, and I was like, this is important. People are really like paying attention to what I'm sharing and getting something from it. And so I want to be as vulnerable and authentic as possible in order
Mm.
to like help those people out because sometimes I've shared things and like someone's like, I've never told anyone this, but
Yeah.
here's this. And I'm like, those are the things that mean the most to me when posting. Is that the whole of my content? For sure, no, but like the inspiration part is there. And I would love to be a helpful guide on the way of like a confidence journey or whatever it might be for you. Like, It'd be great.
Yeah. I was amazed at some of the responses that I get too, like particularly when it's more geared toward mental health. I'll get those same like DMs, like, thank you for opening up this conversation. In my house, we
Yeah.
never talked about this. And I just go, what?
Right.
How haven't you? But we forget that, what might be normal to one person isn't to someone else. And
Mhm.
this could be something like key for that person just to like get through their day. The most
Right.
important part about social media is that connection that it
Mhm.
fosters. And it is real. People laugh about it all day, but I think that something about those connections, even if it's for a few seconds, just makes you feel worlds better,
Some
for
of my
sure.
best friends have come from the internet, so really can't
I
complain.
know. And it's so funny how like I could never have imagined that when I was young. And I remember getting dial-up in our house for the first time, and I was like, what is this? And I was like using my MSN email address as like instant messenger before like we knew what email was used for. It was just hilarious, like
That's
totally not
amazing.
using it. I know, totally not using it the right way, but I love that we seem to be embracing it and
Mm.
just enjoying it right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Beauty is another thing that you're enjoying. I love the products that you're talking about. You got a lovely beat on right now as we're speaking.
Thank you.
So I was curious, what products are you into lately?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like every day there's like a new product I'm like obsessed with. Let's think. Everything, something I wear every day. I have to look at my drawer here.
Yeah.
I am loving the like bronzer, like blonzer moment. Like
Mhm.
especially since now it's summertime. It's so Bare Minerals has this product they call it the blonzer. It's a blush and
Mm.
bronzer mix. Although most people just use it for blush. I'm wearing it today. It's like shimmery, like peachy, terracotta-y color, and it's like
Yeah.
you look like you're sun-kissed. I love that. I'm a huge fan of any kind of highlight. Anytime I can like shine and glow, let me do it. I will go for it. 2016 is not gone for me. I will shine to the sun. Like, let me out there, guys.
Let's
So anything
go.
that has shimmer in it, I'm like, sign me up. I'm here for it. So but yeah, there's so many products. This one, I don't have it right with me, but the Super Goop lip shade product that just came out. It's like
Yeah.
lip balm, but it's got color in it and it's like 30 SPF. Anything that Super Goop comes out with, I'm like 10 out of 10 impressed. So
Yes. I love it
yes.
so much. And you did a really cool reel on Urban Decay recently
Yeah.
too. And I'm like, oh my God, the gospel that is Urban Decay. I'm so glad I have their brow blade on right now. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's like it's the perfect, I don't know, brow shaper pencil. I guess it's not really
Mm,
pencil, but you know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah.
so defined
I
that
love
you
it.
can the slightest little stroke will just shape it into
Mm,
whatever it is you want to be. It's an incredible product. I love
yeah.
experimenting with makeup. I truly look at makeup as like a form of art, even though
Mm,
I typically don't use too much, but I love to see other people use
yeah.
it sort of as like a color palette. Just,
Hey, it's so
oh,
creative.
let me paint with this, let me paint with that. What sparked your interest in beauty to begin with?
Okay, so this is another thing. I'm still obsessed with beauty YouTube.
Yes, come through,
Have
Nikki tutorials. Yes.
I love watching like a haul. I love watching a try on. I love like get ready with me, like all of those things. I'm obsessed with watching them. And so it was back in like when I first started like actually doing makeup after college, because I wasn't like super into makeup. And
Mhm.
when I was in college, I was like kind of wearing it, kind of not. And then like after college, I was like, let me explore every avenue available to me, which was like fashion and then, makeup. Because I was under my parents' roof, we're a little more conservative, like it was less emphasized,
Mm,
like,
mhm.
your expression was there, but it wasn't quite there yet. So I really came into my own after college and I started like watching YouTube videos. I was obsessed with the Naked palette. And I'm like, let me like do my eyes into a smoky eye every day.
I
And
still
then
love a smoky eye.
you can't go wrong. And honestly, it was like a full circle moment for me when Urban Decay sent me a PR box full of stuff. I was like, I was obsessed with the Naked palette, and now I'm actually receiving this. Like, is this real life? Someone like pinched me. I don't know what's happening. And so, yeah, it just, I love watching YouTube. So that's my thing.
I love that too. What was that day like? Was the package a surprise to you, or did you know that it was coming from Urban Decay?
So the first one I got was actually their like the quickie concealer. And so they had emailed me and I was like,
How do
hello?
you know me?
It's like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And they were like, we'd love to send you this new product we're coming out with, like pick what shades you would like to receive. And I was like, hold up, what's happening? And
Like,
then
is this spam?
yeah, I know it like I think it actually did go to my spam folder, and I was like, Urban Decay, is this real? I was like, I'm filling out this Google form anyway, and if it's not real and I guess like my email gets hacked, it's okay.
I'll just change the password later. It's fine.
I'll just figure it out later. But
Yeah.
then the second package they sent me was a total surprise, and that was the one that I most recently posted. It had a bunch of
Yeah.
eyeliners and like just a ton of stuff in there, and I wasn't expecting that. And it was just like Christmas morning. Like I was like, hey, look at this stuff that came in the mail. Like, you can't believe it. So yeah.
Does anything come to mind as to this is what set me apart? This is what caught Urban Decay's attention. This
I,
is why they sent this to me. Could you think of any
I
reason, or was it random?
honestly, I don't really know how they got my email or what happened there. I really honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know how, like, because I'm not like a huge creator. Like, I mean, I have a good amount of followers, but like, not like, we're not like talking tens of thousands or anything. So I don't really know how they found me. I'm on like many different platforms for creators. So maybe they got my email through one of those. I have no idea. It's a really good question, though. I would really love to know.
Yeah,
But I
I would.
don't know.
I would be hitting them back like, so BT Dubs, what was it that made you even want to reach out? Just curious. Asking
Right?
for a friend, namely me. Because
Although it is what I've seen from them and like what like creators that I see them sending stuff to, they like are really good about sending things to small creators, people of color. Like
okay.
they are very good about like keeping their PR list like open and like sending people stuff. And I think that's really awesome that they do that because accessibility to a brand is something that I think a lot of people want. And they want to know that like I can, reach out to these people and that they're nice to me.
Yeah, it's a requirement, I think, at this point for a
Yeah,
brand.
really.
Like, we got to put ourselves out there that way and let everybody know that this is for them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
period. So I
Yeah.
love to see it. That must have been an amazing moment. What's next for you? What are you looking forward to? What are we going to look forward to seeing online?
Oh man, I feel like there's so much. I got another collab with Atrium Health coming up.
Oh,
They worked with me on like their women's health side of things. It's Atrium is like, I don't know, a little more Charlotte area, like North Carolina based, South Carolina based. They're like focusing on women's health and like showcasing how important it is to do that. And I think that's 10 out of 10, very important. So
mhm.
doing another collab with them, which I'm really excited about. I don't know. We're just looking forward to like fun summer colorful looks. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
So that's
The
that's
vibe,
I
the vibe is living life, period.
literally I had my
It's
birthday this month. I turned 30. I'm really excited. So that's
oh
exciting.
God. Your 30s are going to be amazing, by the way. I'm
I'm
33.
pumped.
Your 30s are when you give so much less of a shit about so many things. Honestly, really, like
Yes.
a lot of self-doubt kind of goes away. A lot of, am I taking this too personally? Or I'm terrified of what this person thinks of me. Some of
Mm.
that, I don't know what it is, but it was like magic when I hit 30. It was like some of that just went away. There's still a little
Yeah,
bit of it, but a lot of it
of
went away. And
course.
I
Yeah.
am not as anxious.
No, that's amazing. I can't wait because I've been around people like my one boss that I had a couple like my first job out of college. My boss was so amazing. She was in her 50s and she was like every decade gets better. So just keep looking forward to every year because I have just become more of my own every decade, every year that goes by. And I was like, that is a great perspective. I'm going to take that on. And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Here we go. Like, let's try something new.
This is what we need. I mean,
Yeah.
you're somebody, you'll probably relate to this because I feel like you're somebody that is about your business. You are somebody that is concerned about what you're putting out in the world and how that affects others, and you
Mm,
you want to get, we're happy to serve your community online. You care about it, you want to grow,
mm,
you want to interact with other people. I very much want to do the same thing, but I always have that like little self-doubt gremlin that goes,
mm.
you don't have enough followers, or you don't have enough
Yeah.
listeners, or whatever, and he's just like, and you're like, just shut up. But they never do. Like, they're always the loudest voice in the room, even though that voice is coming from your own brain, which is
Mhm.
so strange. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you couldn't go for what you wanted, whatever it was, particularly, I guess, in social media, because of that? Did you ever have a moment of self doubt like that? Because when I look at you, it doesn't seem that way.
I feel like everyone struggles with that, and if they don't,
Yeah,
that's
they're a
wow.
damn liar.
I was gonna
They're,
say, are they lying to themselves? Because I don't know any person who hasn't struggled with like imposter syndrome, or I can't do this because of, or like I'm putting out these videos and I look stupid. No one's
mm,
watching them. No one's paying attention. Blah blah blah. All the time. Even now, I'm like, I don't think I can email a brand like to like pitch myself. Like, how would I do that? I don't know. So yeah, even now it's like there's those moments and those self-doubt, but I think oh, I don't know if that stopped me from doing a lot of things like pitching myself to brands or asking for payment
mm,
or trying to do things like that because I'm like, I don't think I deserve that because I don't have enough followers. And I'm like hearing from other people who have less followers than I do that are like, I actually got paid for that. And I was like, wow, okay. So I'm holding myself back. So
yeah.
I think that's something I've been trying to take into 2023 is that, I know my worth, I know my time, and I know how valuable that is and how what I bring to the table as a content creator and like a person, even in
Mm,
my own job, like that I do full time outside of this, like I have to know that and I have to be able to like bring that to the table and be confident about it and not, kind of ignore the voices in your head
mhm.
because they're just going to always tell you that's no, you need to stop. So,
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the energy. That's on period. That's what we want for everybody listening. Is just shush that and move
mhm,
forward with whatever it is that you want to do in life. Andy, I've
mhm.
so enjoyed this chat. Thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for hanging out with me. I
Yeah,
very much appreciate it.
absolutely. No problem. Thank you.